Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about how you'll get more attractive women to submit to you when you do things in a certain way and you utilize seminal retention and no fat. See, a lot of people think like attraction works as if you let's say if you like hit it, quote unquote, then you basically did your duty and you basically conquered her. And what I'm here to say is that's not really the case, because like the whole, let's say like the one night stand culture, the I hit it once culture, it's really not as fulfilling, and that doesn't really prove that you're an alpha male. That doesn't really prove that you're an established man in this physical existence. That actually may prove that you need someone else's validation to feel better about yourself. And it proves that you're only into the whole one thing type of life. And that really isn't as fulfilling as people may think about it. People ask, friends ask, you went out, did you get any cheeks? Did you get what you wanted? And you, if you hit it really once, you haven't really conquered her anything. The thing is, you're not truly alpha until you can make, let's say, a woman act a certain way when she's around you, just by your mere presence. People don't really think of this as something that is possible. But what we're trying to do here, and what I'm trying to assert is, can you make, let's say, a woman act a certain way around you when you just show up? Meaning, you've made it because of the person you've become and the type of, let's say, emotional triggers that you may have pulled in her. Whenever you, let's say, enter the building, or whenever you're in the same vicinity as her, all of a sudden she might steam. She might tend to maybe tense up a little bit. Her goosebumps might be a little bit out there. She just might be she starts acting very submissive around you. She's out of the way. She really does everything that she can to make you happy and make it seem like she's out of the way and you basically need her for assistance. Now, in order to do this, there's definitely going to have to be some work around it, because a lot of guys just think, oh, if I hit it once and never see her again, then I'm quote unquote an alpha and I get, let's say, woman. And to be honest, that's really not the case. You haven't really done 100% of the full job. You want it to get to the point where she has no choice but to submit to you regardless. She has no point but to submit to you anytime she sees you in her physical eyes. She starts doing things for you. She goes out of her way to look the best every time you're around her. She starts doing things for you. She has no choice but to. She starts really want to learn more about you. She's the one who's asking you questions. You want it to get to this point. But in order to be able to do this, to have full, let's say, where there's a woman who has 100% submission to you, then there has to be certain things that you do to level up yourself. There has to be certain things that you do to level up yourself. You're going to have to start saying no to specific things. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things in order to be able to do some of these things. You're going to have to talk to her in a certain way. And I don't mean acting like a total jerk or a dick around her. I just mean like there's a lot of things that you may have to do that gets her very in a submissive culture. You're gonna have to be an emotional tower of very good emotions. Some emotions that she may have never even felt before, and she can only experience when she is with you. This is how you get her to kind of do things for you. This is how you get her to, let's say, submit to you. This is how you can cut 100% of her flaking. This is how you can really become the man that you really want to be, and how you can really get what you really want. Now, it takes a lot of work. It takes some work to be able to do this. But the man who can do this has full control, and the woman is 100% submission to, let's say, him. Now, the steps in order to do this: 1, be very authentic. You're going to have to go on a longer day of semen retention to be able to do this, or no fat. Because the thing is, when you go on no fat for a little bit of time, you start becoming your real self. You're going to be very attractive and very authentic to women and people in general. Women in general. You're going to be very authentic to them. It's going to be the point where she has really no choice but to submit to you because of the person you are. You get to the point where you're a radio tower, a radio signal of just very, very positive emotions. Very positive emotions. And when you talk to her, you have to talk to her in a certain way. You might have to look at her in the eye. Not only that, but if you're on retention for, let's say, 30 days plus, and let's say you've been working out and you've been taking care of yourself, every single thing that you do is going to be 100% amplified. You will be, in her eyes, sort of like a gorilla. You'll have to talk to her in a certain way. You're going to have to maybe say things that no one has said to her before, and I don't mean like dissing her or doing things like that. You're just gonna have to be very, let's say, you're gonna have to create an emotional bond with her that no one else has, let's say, created with her before. And like I said, women feed off really good emotions. So if you can make her feel a certain way that she has never felt with anybody else before, then she is going to look at you as if someone who she needs to experience that sort of emotional high. It's called an emotional trigger. And the more you can, let's say, maybe talk to her in a certain way, like, let's say, tease her a little bit, maybe even compare her to other girls, or maybe make her feel as she's, let's say, special in a certain way. And I don't mean this by like buying her things and doing that. I mean by just the way, your mere presence and the mere way you talk to her, and you're just really, let's say, and you act very, let's say, alpha around her. You're gonna you're gonna make her submit a little bit. You're gonna look at her in her eyes, and you're gonna say things that seem like you couldn't really care less about all the things that you're saying, because you're saying it in a very nonchalant way, if that makes sense. You're just gonna have to be very, let's say, the point is, you're gonna have to be very, let's say, 100% really satisfied eternally with every aspect of your life. And what that tends to happen is, since you're really okay with your life, meaning you put in the work, every aspect of your life is very, let's say, satisfactory, and you're very in love with what you do, all of those emotions bottle up in you, you'll start to dish that out to her, and she'll start feeling it. Women are very intuitive creatures. If they can see that you're giving them very positive emotions, and let's say you're not judgmental, and you're just a very, let's say, established man, like, she's gonna feel that around you. She's gonna feel that and you're gonna make her feel a certain type of way. The thing is, you have to be very, let's say, you have to be very specific about, let's say, a certain type of niche, a certain type of knowledge, certain type of specific industry that you're very, very keen on and you're very, very good with. And then if she asks you, so like, what are you, like, what do you do? Or you might have to explain to her in a very expertise type of way, and it's gonna make it feel that you're very knowledgeable in a certain type of industry, and she's gonna find that pretty attractive. Because a lot of guys are very bland, and they're very, let's say, they're very bland, and they're very, let's say, mundane. They're a yes man. They're everybody's man. They're not authentic men. Basically, the more authentic you become, the easier it is to find someone that you're really excited about, and the easier it is for you to, let's say, attract her. Because the point is, what you really want to do is you want to get to the point where you're very, like I said, 100% satisfied with every single thing about your life, and you're vibrating at a very high frequency all the time, a very high vibration. And it's easier for, let's say, her to submit to you when you're like 50% above her. Because the thing is, like, a lot of guys try to pull, quote unquote, the baddie, but like in their mindset, they don't think they're good enough for her. So they always have to do things to make it seem like they're better, they're good enough. They make sure they gotta get her to do this, they gotta get her this, they gotta do this. And it really isn't gonna work that way. She's gonna overlook you. Women have more options than men. Women have a lot more options than men. So the best thing for you to do is to be, like I said, very 100% satisfied with your life. You're hitting the gym, you're meditating, you have a purposeful life, you're living a soulful mission, you're not miserable at your job, you're doing something that you're purposeful about. You're knowledgeable in a specific type of niche. You have knowledge that you can actually share with her. You contain wisdom that you can share with her. The whole point of a conversation with a girl that you actually like is to get to the point where you're dishing out very, very, very positive emotions to her, and you're connecting with her on a very specific thing that makes her very, very, let's say, energetic, and gets her to the point where she's asking you questions all the time about something, and she has goosebumps every time she talks about it, that you both are connecting on, that you both are very connecting on, and to the point where it seems like she feels an emotional high when she is talking to you about it. So the way to do this is to try to create very deep rapport with her. Create something that you both can connect on. Create something that you both are very see eye to eye on, and then start talking about it, very, very in depth, and then get her opinion on things, and then you're basically having some sort of, like, let's say you're even having a podcast with her, and she's doing most of the talking, but you're dishing out the questions, and you're dishing out very good questions, so she can actually start to think about what she is saying when she talks about it. And the more you can get her to try to put the conversation in the best, where she has to think about what she is saying, and she's connecting with you on a very deeper level, you're creating a very emotional bond with her, and you're getting it to the point where the conversation is very, let's say, contagious, and very, let's say, intriguing. And it's real, like, because, like, women love really intriguing conversation, especially things that they like to talk about. So if you guys can both connect on this on a deeper level, she's going to like it a lot more, instead of asking very bland and mundane questions that any guy can ask. Because if you can do this, you're going to separate yourself from literally 95% of the pack if you really like her. And also, like, and if you can do this consistently, like you're gonna have her she's gonna be very attracted to you. Also, yeah, like utilize your social media. So if, let's say, she watches your stories, utilize some knowledge and information and something like you like to talk about. So it seems like she has some sort of idea about how your life is, and this will get her to like you a lot more, instead of just being bland and mundane and asking her very bland questions. Because guys don't think about things. They literally have no meaning behind the specific things that they do. The thing that you really want to do is, when you're asking her questions, you have to get her to the point where, like I said, she has to think about what she has to say, and the question is very good. Like this past weekend, like I was talking to an example is I was talking to some people, and I was asking them, so what are the pet peeves that women tend to have about men? And this is a very open-ended question, and it's actually a very good question, because it causes the woman to, let's say, think about what they have to say, and then it makes them, let's say, smirk a little, and then they start talking about things that they really want to see in a specific man. And then if she's talking about all of this, and you're literally sitting right across from her, then she's going to correlate those characteristics to, let's say, you. And you're gonna be very looked at as a very intriguing character in her eyes, because of the questions that you decided to ask. But if you ask very mundane and very bad questions, then she's gonna think like, oh, this guy just doesn't know how to talk to anybody, and he doesn't have anything going on in his life. So yeah, the best thing for you is to ask very good questions so she can open up to you. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.